Some people, when they hear commercial real estate, they might think, oh my goodness, that sounds interesting, but I don't have enough money to get involved in that. And actually, to some extent, I was exactly the same way when I first heard about commercial real estate. But actually, today, let's take a look at 4 misconceptions about commercial real estate. And the first one is simply that you need to be super rich or super wealthy in order to get involved in it. And it's simply not true, right? This is why syndications and funds and so on exist, because they pool money together from various investors to buy larger properties, right? So you don't have to buy the whole, you're just buying a piece of the pie, and you're not buying the whole bakery, if you want to use this kind of analogy. So you can get in with how much ever you are willing and able to invest, right? And the minimums usually start like around 50,000, but it depends. Some deals maybe will be higher and some might be lower. The second misconception is that you need a ton of specialized knowledge. However, what you really need is a trusted team that has all of the knowledge, right? And you can focus on one thing. So for example, it's not my job to know how to repair a room or to deal with the plumbing or to, replace the electrical wiring. My job is to be able to underwrite the deal and partner with the operators who know about roofing, they know about, construction and so on. So you do it as a team sport, right? Each person is specializing in their own little area, and together we form like a super team. Myth or misconception number 3, commercial real estate is completely illiquid. Okay, there's some truth to this depending on the deal. And the reality is that it's not as liquid as a stock, right? The stock you can just buy and sell pretty much any time. However, commercial real estate is not a life sentence. A lot of syndications are structured with a 3 to 7 year business plan or timeline. And the goal is to, force appreciation and refinance or sell. It depends on and it really depends on market conditions. So it's a medium-term capital growth play and not a trap. Also, sometimes you might have cash flow distributions, right, on a quarterly, annual, or whatever basis, depending on the deal. Myth or misconception number 4, it's too risky. Now, I could be biased, I really, really could be biased, but I think a well-vetted commercial real estate deal is way less risky than stocks for the average person. Let's look at some reasons why. First of all, you are buying a tangible income-producing asset. People are always going to need a place to live, right? And if you've done your due diligence, you've done your market research properly, you will know, or you will have a fairly predictable model about what kinds of rents you can get, how much you might be able to force the appreciation and so on. You can do your market research and pretty much have a good idea of what's going on. To me, and again, I could be biased, but in this case, not so much. The biggest risk is not investing, right? And you just let your money sit in the bank account, earning a measly interest rate while inflation eats away at it at a maybe much higher rate. That is the biggest risk, if you ask me. So, which of these misconceptions has maybe held you back and prevented you from investing up to now? And is there anything else that you are still curious about, right? By the way, anything that you want to know, feel free to reach out. I love talking about this stuff so much, as you can probably imagine. And I also love to see whether our investment goals align, right? Because, commercial real estate, while it's exciting in many ways, I think it really is not for everyone, right? If you have a very short-term mindset and you just want to get rich quick, I don't think commercial real estate is the way to do that. However, if you have a more medium to long-term mindset and you want to get wealthy predictably, then commercial real estate is definitely something that I think is a great, great asset. Again, I could be biased, right? Always do your own research, but if you know my story, the way I got started in this space was simply by asking so many people what they invest in. And when I saw that so many of the successful or wealthy people that I knew were heavily invested in commercial real estate, that's when I dug deeper, that's when I started to understand it, and that's when I knew, okay, this is the way to go, right? So anyway, thank you for watching the video, and see you in the next one. Haven't joined yet? Our free investing group gives you front row access to new deals and helpful investing education. Sign up today.